I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. You fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. I sing a song and sorrow's gone, and joy I live ever free. Tuning into this chant, opening yourself to this chant, to the divine. Let the heart sing to the divine, filling us with joy.
Thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Babaji, Om Babaji, Om Babaji, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Babaji, Om Babaji, Om Babaji, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Christ, Om Christ, Om Christ, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Christ, Om Christ, Om Christ, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Lahari, Om Lahari, Om Lahari, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Lahari, Om Lahari, Om Lahari, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Shri Yukteswar, Shri Yukteswar, Shri Yukteswar, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Shri Yukteswar, Shri Yukteswar, Shri Yukteswar, Om. 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name.
Listen to my heart song. I will never listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. So listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee.
My Lord, thee, only thee. मुझको तेरी चाह प्रभु सिर्फ तेरी.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
मुझको तेरी चाह प्रभु तेरी सिर्फ तेरी, मुझको तेरी चाह प्रभु तेरी सिर्फ तेरी,
मुझको तेरी चाह प्रभु तेरी सिर्फ तेरी, मुझको तेरी चाह प्रभु तेरी सिर्फ तेरी.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. Thee, only thee. Thee, only thee. Thee, only thee. Thee, only thee.
सत्संग शुरू करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Namaste. Welcome to today's Satsang. The topic is divine miracles. We will start with a prayer, a chant, meditate together, do affirmation, there will be readings, and then the discourse itself. And we will end with Aarti and the healing prayer. Let us first start with a prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Friend, Beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, Beloved Gurudeva, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, dear friend and guide, Swami Priyananda, humbly we bow at thy feet. Divine Mother, Master, help us to tune into thy divine consciousness, thy light, thy joy, thy bliss. Help us to remove the veil of Maya. May we be able to see the truth and merge back in the divine light. We are thine mother. Bring us home. Om. We start with the hymn to Brahma. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, let's chant Om together. Om. 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 The chant is wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea, wave of the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. So do thou, my Lord. Thou and I with the sea, wave of the sea dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, make me the sea. Wave of the sea dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. So do thou, my Lord. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusion. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusion. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusion. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner do, just meditate for next 20 minutes. This is a short meditation, so let us dive deep within ourselves, opening ourselves to that divine consciousness to take charge.
continue to remain in this meditative state, let us use our higher state of consciousness to do an affirmation on inspiration. First, we'll listen to what Swamiji says on inspiration, and then we'll do the affirmation together. This is from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Nitendra. Inspiration is of two kinds: the rediscovery or rearrangement of thoughts that already exist in the subconscious mind, and the sudden appearance of new thoughts or new insights from the superconsciousness. The higher inspiration certainly is more to be desired than the lower, for it is based in truth and not in imagination. It is not always easy, however, to recognize the difference between lower and higher inspiration, particularly when the lower is vitalized by the emotions. When inspiration comes, receive it with calm love and see whether, untouched by emotion, its impulse grows stronger or weaker. Love is the water that nourishes true inspiration. Let us now do this affirmation together. First, we'll speak out loudly, and then as we go deeper, we'll whisper and then silently. I hold my thoughts up to the calmness within. In calmness, I receive inspiration from my higher self. I hold my thoughts up to the calmness within. In calmness, I receive inspiration from my higher self. Whispering now, as we go deeper, I hold my thoughts up to the calmness within. In calmness, I receive inspiration from my higher self. Finally, gazing deep in the spiritual eye, repeating mentally, I hold my thoughts up to the calmness within. In calmness, I receive inspiration from my higher self. See this prayer on inspiration. O Spirit, thou art all truth. In thee lies the solution to my every need. Inspire me now, Lord. Show me the which path to follow of the many that lie before me. Om Shanti. We'll now have a reading from this First from Eternity session, and then from the Gita by the Master.
Namaste. This is a reading from the Whispers from Eternity. Heal my nerves and install me a new set of telephonic nerves. When thou camest, I smiled in my soul cottage by the little brook of life. O mystic electrician, the many tinted bulbs of unawakened happiness, long dependent on my nerve-clogged senses, refused to scintillate with light. For the nerve wires had been torn and shaken by high winds of outward involvement. O thou silent physician of illness, heal my tattered nerves, restorer of shining currents in our lives. Resurrect all the dead nerves, not dead nerve wires, not only in me, but in people everywhere. Breathe into their bodies and unleash thou of power. Let all the unlit, bare wires
and dangling bulbs of their senses may suddenly shine again with thy blazing glory. I am but the bulb. Thou art the holy energy that can animate it. Thou art indeed both bulb and light. Help all men to realize this miracle. Heal all our shattered nerves and flood all the disease-clogged wires leading to those bulbs with the effulgence of thy divine light. Amen.
Om. This reading is from the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, excerpt from chapter 13, stanza 19. In God's eyes, there are no favorites. However, strange to say, his law does seem somehow to favor those who seek him earnestly. For the sincere seeker, the cosmos is like the surrounding board of a musical instrument. It resonates with his consciousness and greatly enhances his path. For such a soul, miracles do indeed happen, though never in the sweetly, sentimental, smilingly supportive way many Orthodox worshippers envision. What does happen is more like what happened at Kurukshetra when Krishna agreed to be Arjuna's charioteer on the condition that he himself would take no action, no active part in the battle. Arjuna gladly accepted this condition, for he realized correctly that whether active or not, Krishna's mere presence would guarantee victory in the end. That indeed was what finally happened. And it is what happens in the private war of Kurukshetra within every individual human being. Amazingly, the shift from belief in an intensely personal God to one who is sternly aloof and impersonal is not giving us a stone carved solid statue, rock firm in its absoluteness. Exceptions occur constantly. The statue keeps cracking and is in constant need of repair. Who really can fathom God? He is impersonal, yes, clearly so. Yet he dwells in every one of us and he does care for each of us very personally if we give to him our hearts. His impersonality consists in wanting nothing from us except, indeed, since in each of us who are human feelings, he is also very personal. He longs for our love. Sweet, foolish sentiments don't win him. Earnest, complete self-offering does. True miracles are a constant feature of the spiritual life. By appealing to the Mother of the Universe, people do receive her loving response. The condition for forming this relationship with her is utter childlike trust and a total absence of selfish desire. Mm.
Okay, Rashan, Anita. Okay, my audible? Okay. So Swamiji, he wrote one story just to bring about a point uh, where this hunter, he goes hunting for the duck on his boat and he takes along his dog, just like that, the pet goes with him. And the hunter shot the first duck and then he notices his dog jumps out of the the boat, and instead of swimming, he runs across, fetches the duck and brings it back. The guy is very confused. So he shot one more. Again, the dog went running all across the water, fetched the duck and came back. He thought probably, he has been drinking too much of beer or something was spiked or something. He didn't believe it. So next day when he goes, he decides to bring a witness. So he brings his friend along. And again, the same thing happened. He shot the duck. The dog jumps out, runs across water, fetches the duck and comes back. He looks at his friend. The friend had no reaction. He starts thinking probably something wrong with me, my mind is, I'm going off my mind. Again, the same thing. He shot the duck. The dog walks across, fetches. So he couldn't contain himself. So he asked his friend, "Did you notice what my dog did?" And that guy was completely uninterested. He said, "Yeah, the stupid thing doesn't know how to swim." This is what Swamiji said. What very amusing about this funny thing is not just that the friend had was dull in recognizing a miracle when it happened, but it is more like how a modern man behaves. Everything seems utter commonplace. Everything is very mundane. There is no wonder. I mean, what's there to wonder? Science can explain it, and this is actually the modern science that had fostered this this kind of attitude that I mean, would ask any modern person who has read uh, science, and we say that how did this universe get formed? They'll say, yeah, the Big Bang. What was there before Big Bang? Oh, that doesn't matter. How did the stars come about? Yeah, the atoms, there was gravitational pull, they got together. How did the planet, how did the earth, life come on the planet? There is always some chemical reaction, some reason, very rational reason that with which they will, I mean, they will, anybody trying to feel a wonder about it is always, come on, kind of thing is brought on them. Primitive man didn't live that way. He was in awe of the nature, the rain, the flowers, the trees, the seasons. Everything was something to revere. I mean, they made deities out of it. They prayed to them. There were gods and goddesses, rain god, and what all. I mean, they had celebrations around. The harvesting is a celebration. Everything was a celebration. Everything was a wonder for them. And I mean, that is how, remember this during the tsunami that happened in 2004. Uh, there was this, there are various tribes in Andaman who have no contact with the outside world. They don't encourage that. They live on their own. And when the tsunami happened, even Andaman was affected. And once everything subsided, people went looking for them and they didn't find. Everybody thought that they have perished in that because they had no pre-warning instruments and gadgets to tell them. Later on, all of them were found. They had known, they instinctively realized this was happening, and they went up the hills to safety. All of them were saved. And we heard that animals also moved away because they sensed it, which shows that these primitive people live more in tune with nature. They are in that vibration where they are able to pick up intuitively what is happening around them. Whereas modern man with all the gadgets, I mean, we wouldn't believe unless and until an instrument tells us that something is happening. And that's where somehow we have lost contact. I mean, initially when a toddler is all, she always looks around this world in wonder. For her, the flowers are so beautiful, the butterfly is so pretty. And then as we grow up, we are taught to, get into that rational mind where everything has an explanation. Swamiji tells about this time when he was very young. He had just joined the monastery with a master. And there was this convocation of psychiatrists, very the cream of the society in New York. And Swamiji was part of this where they went to demonstrate yoga postures and all. And at the end of it, they got talking, and there was this particular psychiatrist who was very skeptical with what these people had to say, master. And spirituality and all. So he kept questioning, and Swamiji was that young person who was very eager to tell people how what a wonderful thing this is, and he tried to explain, and every time that man kept asking more questions. So in order to convince him, he started telling about all the miracles that Master did. And Swamiji said, I could sense him mentally making a note on his appointment diary. Monday, 11 o'clock for this patient. He needs a treatment. So then finally he gave up and came back. After some days, he was working with Master on something. Suddenly, Master looked up and said, Walter, that's what he used to call Swamiji. He said, Walter, when you are with non-believers, better not talk about miracles. Swamiji said, you knew, Master? He said, I know every thought that you think. That's something to remember for each one of us who are on this path. But for masters, the time, space has no relevance. They can reach across. That's the divine consciousness. In Autobiography of a Yogi, that book is full of miracles. Again, Swami Kriyananda, when first he picked up the book, he says, here I am, born and brought up in a very American, practical American culture. 8th page, I read Bhagavati, who is Yogananda's father, and his subordinate in the Indian Railways, Abhilash Babu, I think. They both are walking through a field. Suddenly, Lahiri Mahashaya materializes himself and says, Bhagavati, you're very tough on your subordinate. And then he dematerializes himself. He says, I was stunned when I read that. I mean, how can that happen? If anybody else, I would have thought this is fiction. But something about this author made me believe what he was saying. But my, that rational mind, the intellect was not yet ready to accept it. So I kept it on a shelf. And he said, I went on to keep a lot of other stories also on a shelf to revisit later, like how Master was healed of Asiatic cholera when he was a young boy just by looking at the picture of praying to the picture of Lahiri Mahashaya, and then a light descended and he was instantly healed. Lahiri Mahashaya stops a train from moving because his disciple was too boarded. How Lahiri Mahashaya met Babaji, the whole story of it. It's such a miraculous story. There are so many stories in Autobiography. And then Master himself, he had made, he was doing a lot of miracles. In his book, a biography of Paramahansa Yogananda that Swamiji wrote, he has dedicated one full chapter on the miracles that Master performed. But Master never gave much stress to that. And he said that I don't normally use it with general people. I reserve it more for more dedicated and advanced disciples, because then people, instead of taking what the spirituality is all about, will start focusing more on the miracles and phenomena. He said, path to God is no surface. So it doesn't work that way. So he normally never emphasized on that. But for all these masters, it just came very, they could do it. That's the point. We always wonder, oh my God, this miracle. We have also at times have felt, that for a long time you have not met this person. You think about it, and suddenly that person calls on the phone, and we just put it, oh, coincidence. Master said, there is no such thing as coincidence. And he said there are no miracles. Miracles work with the universal, it uses the universal law. What seems like miracles to us is actually part of this universal law, which with all this whole creation operates, and that is Maya. And there are only two things that work in Maya: it's relativity and duality. We don't understand. There are more deeper, more subtler realms to this, dimensions to this, what the creation is all about. All the masters through time immemorial have told us that this world is not what it looks like. But those deeper realms are not revealed to an ordinary person, whereas these masters they understand it, how it operates, and they use that to manifest what looks like a miracle to all of us, to the ordinary person. And I mean, it is something, and Sri Yukteswar in his book, The Holy Science, he said, he talked about the yugas. So he said that in the Kali Yuga, say some 500 years back, it was a yuga of what you see is what you believe. Now, slowly we are entering the age of Dwapara, the age of energy. Which so for today, I mean, for us, we can. I'm talking here. Somebody sitting in US can see me talking. They can hear me. I can do a video call to all that people. I can go in the planes miles away in a matter of hours. But if I were to meet a person, if I time travel and meet a person 500 years back and would tell him that, you can do this, they would laugh at me. And if I actually were able to demonstrate, they will think it is miracle, right? But for us, we take it for granted. It's very easy for us because we accept it. And Sri Yukteswar said that in the Treta Yuga, the intellect of a man, the common man, will be able to perceive the divine magnetism that just by thoughts you can manifest things. Whereas we don't understand what it is. This is, but there are in every age, there are men, masters who transcend beyond that yuga's general awareness, and they are able to tap into these these truths. These they are able to perceive it and use it, which the general public of that yoga is unable to do it. But Jesus Christ said to his disciples that when I am with my master, with my father, even you will be able to do what I did. And it was a fact that after Jesus Christ left his body, his disciples were able to do all that. How? How were they able to do it? It's something that I would invite Nitendra to take us through how this law of miracle works. So,
Thank you, Jayanti, and thank you everyone for being around. So, I just wanted us to remind ourselves of the times when we were little children. And remember, at least me, I was very excited when I would go to a birthday party and there would be a magic show going on there. Not sure if you remember, the magician would wear a hat and then he will show there's nothing in the hat. He will wear it again and then show that there's a rose coming out of it. And then the most interesting part usually could happen that he wear the hat again, take it out, and the pigeon comes out of it. Not sure if you all remember, right? And I relived those memories when our son used to go to these birthday parties. I don't know how much he enjoyed, but I really enjoyed that magic show again when these things happen. And he's kind of outgrowing it, but I'm still stuck at that. But so this is what is magic, and we are all fascinated by it. I hope all of you are also still fascinated by it. Children are definitely fascinated by these things that they don't expect and then they happen. Right? But as Jayanti was pointing out that there is a universal law, but in the space of magician, we all, when we grow up, when children are very small children, they are really amused by these things. When they grow up, they start asking those rational and the logical questions that Jayanti was talking about. How does it happen? How can a pigeon come out of that hat? Now, when as a grown up, I go to those birthday parties, I'm not enjoying as much, but I'm just trying to figure out, okay, this hat looks big enough. Maybe there's some portion which is hidden. This time I'll figure out how he does that trick and so on, right? We are mostly focused on that. And it turns out as we grow older that we realize that this is a trick. And the magician follows a certain set of rules. A magician has some tools. They have these special hats. They have things in their hands and so on, right, where they can hide and figure out things and so on. And they also do a lot of practice. So when they are showing something to us, They'll be doing abracadabra, something like that to distract us there. And by that time, they would have done something out here and they would show something here. Right? It's a lot of, they have tools and then they have practices. The more a magician practices it, when they come on stage, it looks like magic. Just a simple set of tricks. Similarly, when we talk about divine miracles, we go to a next level higher up. And perhaps the difference between magic and miracles is the fact that human beings perform magic, magicians do it really well, but God performs miracles. The law of magic resides in that hat and that art of moving hands and so on and so forth. The law of miracles are at the level of superconscious. And that is why when Vinita ji said that to those on the spiritual path, miracles do happen because those of us who are on the spiritual path, we keep tuning into that super consciousness. Swamiji spoke at length about the fact that divine miracles have a law. And what is that law? It comprises of things that we are supposed to do, and then everything follows as a result of it. The first thing he says is to have faith. The more we have faith, the less rational mind we try to use. The less rational mind we try to use, the more we enjoy. Lakshmi is sitting here and I know she's got some prasad outside for us. And I can start thinking about that prasad saying that, oh, okay, what is this ingredient? Is it in right proportion? Is it 2:1? Is it 1:4? How was that particular ingredient made and so on and so forth? Will I really enjoy what she had brought if I start thinking that? Not really. God gives us these things and we start rationalizing those things, we don't enjoy it. But I have full faith in you, Lakshmi, because we know whatever you cook, we'll really enjoy it, and therefore we don't ask those questions. Similarly, if we have that devotion in our heart, if we have that love within ourselves, then those techniques, which are the tools of magic, equivalent of that, we will have full faith in those. The more we have faith in those, the less we'll question. The less we'll question, the deeper we'll be. That is why to have these miracles in our lives, faith becomes one of the most important laws that Swamiji considers. Related to faith comes, as we discussed, love. We start enjoying things. And what happens with love? If I, as a devotee, am a loving devotee, the God gives more. Look at our own lives. Imagine two children. One is a whining child, and other is a very loving child. And usually your children are a mix of both. There is this whining child who's saying, I want ice cream. Once you give him ice cream, he says, I want this. And no, 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 not this. No, 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 I want this. I want this. Second thing you give, third thing, I want that. Now look at that parent who is just fulfilling the need of that child. Most of the times the parent is trying to say, no, this is not good for your health. No, and then the child starts to cry, shout, and the parent, okay, not finish it. Right? Look at the other child who is a very loving child, who is not whining. That parent has more time to plan to give some beautiful things to the child. A child who is going to come home from school, whining and so on, the parent is just busy thinking that, oh my God, what is it that next this person is going to do and how should I be prepared and defend myself and so on. The child who is loving, the parent is just trying to think, how do I get more love out of that thing? Because all of us are hungry for love. So we go one step forward to give that miraculous thing. And as soon as the child comes, without even the child asking, I'm going to show him that ice cream, which that child will never have. That's what will happen with God. The more loving we are, the more God will want to give us those miracles. That becomes the next law of getting divine. Next comes energy. And Swamiji speaks at length about these things, that whatever you want, and even Master mentions that when we pray in demand, we pray with a lot of energy. It's not that we are just waiting for miracles to happen. It's not a passive thing. Isn't there this beautiful story where Swamiji mentions that after doing a great tour of different places, he wanted to celebrate his tour, so he then goes to celebrate with Divine Mother, as he says, and then there are no rooms in the hotel. Finally, he finds one room, but then he did not have enough money. So then the person says, I don't need money from you, without Swamiji even telling that I don't have money. Then he goes for a dinner, and then he doesn't have money, and that person says, I don't feel like taking money from you. All of those things happen, but Swamiji went there to celebrate. He put out that energy. He put himself into a circumstance and then expected and hoped that something will happen and God will take care of it. Many such stories Swamiji relates. Once he had to go on a hitchhike, he didn't have enough money again, and then he just goes out on the road, and then he finds one person after the other, and he travels thousands of kilometers without actually having to spend the money. He had to go on the road. He, he did not sleep out there at his home thinking that someone will come and a miracle will happen. So energy is perhaps the again most important law in this divine, to have this divine miracle in our life. And related to that story is the fact that when Swamiji goes to celebrate, he said that I was celebrating with Divine Mother. Because Divine Mother let him do those tasks that he was supposed to do, he wanted to celebrate with her. So he took Divine Mother with himself. The fourth law says that we need to get rid of our ego. That is when miracles flow through. The more we block saying that this is what I have to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I cannot do, and so on, the more I is there, how is the God going to flow through us? And the miracles come from God. And that is why, actually, when Varsha read, it mentioned that you are the light and I am the bulb. And later on, it says, actually, you are the light and the bulb. God is in fact flowing through us. And the more we realize that, miracles will flow through us because miracles come from God. And the final thing Swamiji mentions is attunement. That is another law for having divine miracles because there are too many musicians out there. If for 15 days I try to learn that hat trick to take a pigeon out, another 15 days I try to learn how to get rose from my arm, another 15 days to how to get a gold chain here, I won't be able to learn anything. What attunement does is that it brings in the focus that we require, and then that energy tries to flow to us easily. There are reasons why we did this chant and the kirtan that brings in the attunement within ourselves. So in some sense, those are the universal laws that take us into that level when we start to not only, yeah, there are two things, right? One is to realize the divine miracles, as Jayanti said in the first story. A lot of things happen in our life, but then we don't realize that they are coming from God, and they are actually miracles in our life. And secondly, to be able to actually receive them in our life. What do? We practice these techniques and tools which are required for a spiritual person to see miracles in their life. And I would just want to end now with one secret for which I need all of your help. Why don't you think of the one biggest miracle in your life? Just think within yourself that has happened in your life. And now the secret is I'm going to tell you with full confidence that the biggest miracle in all our lives is the same thing, which is that Master found us. Isn't that the biggest miracle in our life? How many people are there in this world? Billions. And how many people has Master chosen in his founder to put us on this path? Everything else just follows. But if we just remember the previous miracle, life becomes so beautiful for us. And we'll just feel like blessed to have been learning these laws and techniques to enjoy these divine miracles in our life. Thank you so much. We'll now have the arati and then the closing feelings.
Let's end today's satsang with a prayer, sharing the blessings that we receive every time we are in satsang with Guru Bhais and Masters, God and Guru, sharing them with all those souls who are in need. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, all souls. Oh, oh. Divine Mother, may thy love shine on the sanctuary of our devotion. May we be able to share thy love with all whom we meet. Om. Thank you for joining us today. Joy to you all.